I'm going to tell you why I wrote this book, because this is an actual book. And if you'll write this down, I have a free download and an MP3 of this book. That means I'll just give it to you. You go to CoachBurt.com. And up in the right-hand corner it says free download. And it is the audio of this book and the e-book of this book. Okay? But I wrote this book, $1 Million Follow-Up, primarily because I watched how poorly people followed up with me. Right? Like I will have people every day pitch me their services. I mean, if you follow me around for a day and you coach as many people as I do, they're pitching me every day. But here's the problem. They would pitch me their services and then do a pitiful job following up. I have looked at real estate properties that are expensive real estate properties only to be followed up one time by the agent. Okay? And I've been thinking, man, you really need work on your follow-up, because I believe the fortune is always in the follow-up. When you really understand how the brain works, I can be interested in something momentarily. I can be attracted to something momentarily, but the minute I leave there, my attention is gone. Everybody follow me? Most agents are going 2 touches on their follow-up, when the stats are telling me 7 to 15 touches 80% of the time. So I'm coaching all of my agents to go 7 touches. Now what I'm going to show you today is it doesn't have to be the same touch. I.e., you don't need to call me every week and say, are you ready to go? Are you ready to buy this property? Are you ready to take action? There are both linear touches, which means I come right at you, and I may ask you, have you seen enough to make a decision yet? Everybody follow me? That is a linear, I'm coming at you to sell this to you. Then there are non-linear touches, which means I send something to you just to make you think. Like, hey, I was looking in this subdivision, I also found 2 other properties, right? Hey, I wrote this article, check this out. Hey, have you given a chance to do this? That's a non-linear touch. I'm not trying to sell you something there, I'm trying to get you to think. Everybody with me? And really, if you're going to follow up, you need both. You need to come at people like this. Have you seen enough to take action? And you need to come at people from an angle where you just make them think. Okay? You just make them think. So here's what I would tell you. People are always more motivated by what they'll lose than what they'll gain. That's the way the brain works. The brain is more motivated by what they'll lose than what they'll gain. That's why I use the how-to question. How would you feel if I called you tomorrow and told you this property that it seems like you love is off the market? How would you feel? I don't want to make that phone call. You follow me here? Because people are more motivated by what they'll lose than what they'll gain. And it's not a scare tactic, it's just the truth. If you're interested in the property, sometimes it could, we know based on today's market, okay, one way I may challenge a buyer is say, when you understand basic economics, there is more demand than there is supply right now. And when there's more demand than there is supply, there's a good chance there's going to be multiple offers on this property by the end of the day. Now, it seems like you really like it. And if you really like it as much as I think, I wouldn't be doing my job as your real estate professional if I didn't tell you that we need a sense of urgency here if you want it. Because if you got to sleep on it one more night, you may not be able to sleep in it. You know what I'm talking about? Is that true or not true? Yes. Guys, I made offers. I decided at one point I wanted a condo in downtown Nashville. Nashville is one of the hottest markets in the world right now, because I travel all over the country. I made 5 offers above asking on multiple condos that I couldn't get. That's how fast they were being sold. So once it went on the market, it's already sold. Because agents already knew. Understand what I'm saying? So there is no time to waste in today's market. So here's what I want to tell you. You're losing money when you don't do a good job following up as an agent. How much money that is? Could be a lot of money. Okay? So when you start looking at this, what I'm telling you, here's the cold hard truth after coaching a lot of agents. Number one, you're losing lots of money by not following up properly. Now, I want to be clear. When I say following up properly, I mean you could be following up, but following up in all the wrong ways. Everybody with me? Like there are certain things you don't need to say when you follow up with people. Okay, let me give you some no-nos. You shouldn't say, hey, I was just thinking about you. Because that doesn't spur me to think or take action. I had one person tell me, hey, I woke up thinking about you. And I said, that is creepy. All right? Or I dreamt about you last night. Or I woke up, right? Because this is what people say. Here's what people say when they follow up. Hey, I was just thinking about you. Hey, you're on my list of people to call today. Hey, I looked at a property that was $950,000, and here's how the agent followed up with me 4 days later. 4. I'm just doing my due diligence, coach, by following up with you. And I'm like, no, I'm the one doing my due diligence, not you. Now, that's the only time I heard from that agent, by the way. One touch on a $950,000 property. Would you go more than one touch if I was interested? Yes or no? Yes. So I'm going to show you what I'm saying when I say you may be following up improperly is that you could be following up with people, but what you say could be all wrong. And the reason it's all wrong is because it doesn't make me think and it doesn't make me take action. That's an improper follow-up. So I never call up, hey, I'm just thinking about you, just want to touch base. Here's the one people say, just want to touch base, just want to see if you're ready to go, just want to see if you had any questions. That's a tip, that's a no-no. These are things that do not, what if you ask me, I just want to see if you have any questions, and I go, what? No, I don't have any questions. Now where do you go? You don't have anywhere to go, right? So I never say those things. If I follow up with the person, I say, there's 2 very important things I need to tell you. I need you to call me back by 3 o'clock this afternoon because it's very time sensitive and important and I get you this information. You understand? See, I don't call and say, do you have any questions? So part of the problem is the way agents follow up. You need to follow up in a way that makes me do 2 things. Stop and think. Stop and think. Stop what I'm doing. Hey, I got to talk to my wife about this. We got to make a decision here. We could lose this property, and we really want this property. You with me here? So the first thing you got to know is the way you're following up could be wrong. How many people are going 7 touches, but they think just in the first 5 minutes the way you're following up is wrong? How many people, right? All of us. I see it every day. Number 2, I believe Newton's law. An object at rest stays at rest unless acted on by an outside force. You are the outside force. So I want you to think of this. If you study Newton's law, it says an object in motion stays in motion unless acted on by an outside force. It also says an object at rest stays at rest unless acted on by an outside force. You have got to be the outside force. You follow me here? You do. Okay? Now let me give an example. I spoke at the Chattanooga Association of Realtors not long ago, and at the end I said, out of this room, how many of you would like to come to one of my coaching sessions in Chattanooga? Andy, how many of them said they'd like to come? 66. 66 people. Let's call it 67. That's the devil's number. Now, 66 people out of the room of 100 said, I would like to come. I was coming back to Chattanooga like a week later, 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later at the most. And I go to Chattanooga. So I come to Knoxville, and I coach in Knoxville, and then I go down to Chattanooga, and I coach in the afternoon, and then I go home and see my baby girl. Were you follow me? Now, 66 of those people said, I'm in. Andy, how many of them showed up? 7. 7 of them showed up. 3 weeks later. We gave them the coaching for free that day. You didn't follow up. No, we did follow up. We did. Now, here's what we would tell you though. Here's what we would tell you. Here's what I would tell you. Andy, what did we learn about follow-up from those people though? What did you learn? Because Andy's in charge of following up with these folks.
The night before was crucial.
Yeah.
Not before the event.
So here's the deal. People, it's called the current of the urgent. Those people did want to come. They had good intentions to be there. But what happens is life is moving. And so what we learned is that not only do you need to follow up, you need to follow up in a number of ways. You need to follow up with audio. You need to follow up with video. You need to follow up with an invite. That invite, you understand what I'm saying? That they can put on their calendar. We need to follow up the week of. We need to follow up the day before. We need to follow up the day of. You see how aggressive you got to be in follow-up today? They said they wanted to be there. It's our job to get their attention. So look at those numbers, 7 out of 66. It's no different for you. I'm looking at properties. I like to, oh yeah, you know, I'm busy today, so it's not a good time to call me. You have got to understand that you have got to keep my attention. You have got to keep my attention. Right now there's 256 million people online looking at online on the internet right now as we speak. Half of those people, 156 million, are looking at real estate. I'm a coach. I run a coaching business. But do you know every week I'm involved in a real estate deal? I'm buying and selling properties. I'm building commercial properties. I'm buying long-term. I'm looking at apartment complexes. I'm buying short-term rentals. Every week I'm involved in some type of real estate. And I don't work in the real estate market other than coaching agents. Everybody with me here? What does that tell you? I'm the average American out there in the world. I'm looking at real estate to build wealth. You follow me? So when I'm looking at it and I indicate interest and I email in and I take time and I give you my phone number and I give you my email address, I'm telling you I'm interested. What more do you want me to do? Do you want me to come down to your house and tell you? Right? I'm telling you I'm interested. Now I need you just to keep my attention. So just remember this stat, and I'm an old basketball coach, so I look at probability. And probability tells me it takes 7 to 15 touches, not because I'm not interested, it's because I'm busy. I'm busy. And so I'm interested, but then my mind goes over here and I'm interested in something else. It's called object impermanence. So I was attracted to that property, right? And now you lost my attention, which is why you got to come back 7 to 15 touches. How many of you have ever stayed in there 7 to 15 times with a person for them to ultimately buy? Yeah. Here's the deal. They're interested. You just lost their attention for a minute. Okay, now let me give an example. We got on a kick that we wanted to buy cabins up in Gatlinburg because my wife manages our cabin in Sevierville. It's got good cash flow. We love coming to the mountains, right? We live in Middle Tennessee. So my thought is, let's take $250,000 and let's buy 5 of these puppies, right? My wife can run them. We can make money off of them. I don't have to get on airplanes to go all over the world. And it's a good way to make money, right? Well, between the time I decided I wanted to buy 5 cabins with $250,000, somebody comes along and says, hey, what if you invested in this? What if you invested in this? What if you did this? Everybody with me here? So what happens is, depending on what day you catch me, I may be in the mood to buy 4 or 5 cabins. But if you don't catch me today and you don't follow up with me, maybe I've moved on to something else. So this is a game of catching and keeping people's attention. You got to understand that, okay? And so for you, it may not be your touches, it may be your methodology. Now, here's some follow-up blues that I wrote about in the book. And these are sad stats, just to be honest with you. Less than 9% of people remember their real estate agent's name after the transaction's over. So think about how silly this sounds. Hey, I'm going to help you with what? The largest, say it. Largest purchase of your life. This is going to be transformational. I'm going to change your whole life. I'm going to be right there with you, and it's going to be so good that when it's over, you're not even going to remember my name. Right? That's what. So you need 2 follow-up systems. One follow-up system prior to the sale, from when a person raises their hand and said, look, I'm interested. You need another follow-up system after closing, post-closing. Everybody follow me? And you need to stay in a person's life. Stay in a person's life. Stay in their face. But it would get boring if all you did was call me every week. So you got to think. I call, I text, I email. You see, I use different mechanisms. I see face to face. I call, I text, I video, I email, I see face to face. I don't use the same way every time, okay? I'm going different directions, okay? I told you this one earlier. This is an easy one. 67% of people in real estate use the first person that contacts them. They don't use the best one. They use the first one. So when a lead comes into you and they say they're interested, man, you need to jump on it. I don't care when it is. I don't care if it's on Saturday night at 10 o'clock. If you don't jump on that, somebody else will. You do get that, right? Now, let me give an example. When I sold my last house, we had our house listed at $579,000 in Rutherford County. There were only 5 houses listed between $500,000 and $600,000 in our whole county. We put it on the market. Another real estate company bought the leads, and somehow my house ended up on their website. They captured the lead. It was Memorial Day weekend. On Memorial Day weekend, there were 21 unclaimed leads that came into that real estate company, meaning 21 leads came in and not one agent out of 20 said, I'll call them. You know why? Because Memorial Day weekend. So on Sunday of Memorial Day weekend, one of those agents begins calling those leads back. And she gets a hold of a person that wants to purchase my house. Now, the way they saw my house is that my real estate agent did a documentary video on my house. It was really cool. We walked through the house. He had me explain every room, why I customize it this way. He added music. He added a thing. It had over 12,000 views on Facebook in the first day. The person that was interested in my house wasn't even in the market to buy a house. They just saw my back patio area, and the wife loved it and said, we're about to do this at our house. Why would we do this? We could just buy his. So she tells her husband, I want to go look at that house. But here's the problem. Nobody called the lead back. Until Sunday. This one little agent says, I'm going to call each one of these. She calls this person. That she says, look, I'd like to look at this house. We know it's Memorial Day tomorrow, but we would really like to look at this property. Okay? So that agent says, absolutely, I'll show this property on that day. She wasn't looking for a house. They came, looked at it, and that agent said, we're going to get multiple offers on this house. Bring your best and final. They offered $585, and we had a deal. Now, when did we show that property? On Memorial Day. When did they make a decision? On a Saturday night late. It took them a day and a half to get back to the lead. That agent picked up not only them selling their house, she picked up buying my house. She turned around and sold their kid's house. She picked up 3 listings by doing one thing, just calling people back. Everybody with me? See how easy it was? It ain't rocket science, or as George W. Bush says, it ain't rocket surgery. You know what I'm talking about? It ain't rocket surgery, okay? Sometimes all we got to do is pick up the phone and call somebody back, right? Do you know that the largest contract I ever signed, here's the funny thing. See, here's what agents do. They look at leads with consideration, meaning they make an assessment prior to looking at the lead if it's a good lead or not. They're like, well, this is not a good lead. This is a crappy internet lead. Let me just let you know something. The largest speaking engagement I have ever signed came in from a person that said he was from South Africa, said that he met me in Riviera Maya, Mexico, almost 5 years ago, and he wanted me to speak at this event. So my team come to me, and I'm like, man, I don't remember meeting that guy in Mexico. I'm like, I know, this is crazy. This is a bogus lead. The guy sends us a picture of me hugging him. He's like, I met you in Mexico, okay? I've been following you for 5 years. We want you to speak at this event. But it had all the makings of like a crazy, bogus lead. You understand what I'm saying? There's this guy from South Africa that's living in Austin, Texas. He wants me to speak in Orlando. He met me in Mexico. I'm like, man, it's crazy. And I was the one that thought it was a bogus lead. You understand what I'm saying? You can't. The largest contract I ever signed came in because a person bought my book in Houston, Texas, in a bookstore, and said, we need you to come out and speak to our group, right? I mean, we just thought it was a basic speaking lead. So my point is, don't go into any lead thinking anything. You follow back up with every single lead as if it's the biggest house you've ever sold. You understand? Don't ever ask with consideration. Now, each transaction should be worth 5.7 referrals. 98% of agents are not calling customers back once they put them in a home. So if you just did these 2 things well, you're going to make a lot more money. Good follow-up before, good follow-up after. There's your 7 to 15 touches. Now, when you're looking at this, this is the pipeline. This is the pipeline. And it's very good that you see this because a lot of people are visual learners and they need to see exactly what happens. These are leads right here. Notice they are not prospects, they are... And you know why? I suspect that this could be a good partnership, but I don't know yet because I haven't talked to you yet. You may be cray-cray, and I don't want to deal with you. You understand what I'm saying? Now, so suspects come in the door. We then have a conversation with those suspects, and we actually teach a script in how to make outbound calls. Okay? And the script, when you're calling out, hi, this is Coach Burt. I'm calling from this real estate company. Is this a good time to talk? We have found that 90% of the time they say yes. This is a good time. Let me tell you the purpose of this phone call. I noticed you indicated interest on this property. I just got to ask you 2 or 3 quick questions. You understand what I'm saying? At our company, here's a few things we believe. I'd love to show you this property. If that sounds good to you, can we go ahead and schedule a time? We teach agents how to actually have that call because most agents don't know how to have that call, right? So at this point, we're kind of qualifying you. If you qualify and you're interested and we're interested in you, now you become a... From here to here could take 15 touches. You with me? So there's 2 places. If you're not getting enough leads, this is your problem. If you don't have a good 7-touch follow-up, this is your problem. If once you do get a client, you don't have a good follow-up, you never deepen the relationship to where a client becomes an advocate. And an advocate is where your referrals are coming. Your referrals are coming from people that you satisfied their needs and you exceeded their needs, so they quickly become what's called promoters and then advocates. And then what happens is they feed you more suspects and prospects. So most agents are losing money right here, and they're also losing money in the back end, okay? Now, let's look at this. So every week there's two things I want you to come into the week with. Number one, I want you to come into the week with a hit list. These are people you believe you can help with your services. Okay? Now, give me some examples. Let's say I show up to the office tomorrow. It's Tuesday, right? And I'm like, who can I help with my services? Where could this list come from?
Open houses.
Okay, could come from open houses. This could come from sphere of influence. Could come from past clients that you're calling on, right? If you're staying involved in their life. One of my favorite is strategic partnerships. That means I've got a partnership with a divorce attorney, a title company, a mortgage company, an insurance agent, and I'm working those feeder systems. And those people are bringing me leads. Everybody with me? But every day when I come into the day, if you notice my planner, every day I have a hit list. And a hit list are people I'm calling on. Most agents are not doing this. So if I were at the office from 9 to 11 and I'm going, who do I call on? Well, I could call on some strategic partners. I could call on a past client. I could call on a current client to ask them for a referral. Or I could be going straight to somebody who said they're looking at buying or selling a property. Yesterday at church, somebody told me that they need to buy or sell a property. My hit list is typically 3 to 5 people every day. I got to get your attention. If I don't know you, I can't flow you. You understand? So my first role is I got to get your attention. Every week I'm trying to get people's attention on my hit list. Now, my farm club are people who have indicated interest in using us, or they have indicated interest in buying or selling a property. Now, if you want to really get mad at yourself, calculate how much money is in your farm club right now. If you were to close all of the people that have indicated interest in your services, and you calculate all those commissions, how much money would be in your pocket? You with me? See, every dollar that's in your pocket today started in the pocket of another person. Every dream you've ever had, everything you've ever purchased, somebody else paid for it. You do realize that, don't you? You didn't pay for it, somebody else paid for it. Money changes hands when problems are solved. The bigger the problem, the more money people pay to solve it. So as an agent, you can solve a $225,000 problem. You can solve a $1.5 million problem. Still the same problem. Everybody with me? You can fish for bluegills in a local lake, or you can fish for blue marlins in the Gulf of Mexico. Everybody with me here? So I've got a real estate agent in Nashville. She picked up a builder. She worked a builder relationship for 2 years. She picked up 73 deals in 1 year. She picked up $15 million of production in 1 year. Was that bluegill or blue marlin? Here's what I love about that woman. She followed up every week. They already had an agent. Until one Saturday, she's out jogging. She's got no makeup on. She's got no business suit on. She's out running and jogging on the weekend. She gets a phone call from the builder. Hey, we're unhappy with our agent. Can you come right now and present to us? She got no makeup on. She said, I'll be right there. She ran right over there and she got in front of them and told them what she could do, and they said, you got the job. She picked up $15 million. It's like that. But she didn't pick it up in 1 day. When did she pick it up? She picked it up in 2 years because she was fishing for blue marlin. See the difference? So when you wake up and go fishing, it's up to you on what you fish for. Okay? I don't fish typically one-to-one. I fish in terms of groups. Like I told these guys over here at RE/MAX, I'm working on a deal with RE/MAX for me to speak at every big real estate RE/MAX convention in the country. That would put me in front of 1,000 to 1,500 agents per time I spoke. Do you know how many people we could work, how many people could sign up for our coaching program as a result of that? Not a few. Am I fishing for bluegill? Am I fishing for blue marlins? See the difference? See, what you got to think is you're fishing here. So every day I'm going after new people, and every day I'm trying to close people. This is where you're trying to close people from. So they've indicated interest. The farm club is where? The farm club is right here. They've told you, look, I'm interested. But the number one reason, I want you to write this down. There's 2 reasons a person is sitting in the farm club and they're not taking action. It's real simple to me. fear and uncertainty. The reason a person doesn't move forward with anything in their life is because of fear and uncertainty. Here's the good news. Fear is an unpleasant emotion created by a belief that someone or something's going to harm them in the future. That fear breeds uncertainty. Uncertainty is ambivalence, doubt, vacillation, insecurity. So what could I be afraid of? Why am I sitting on the fence with you? What are all the reasons I could be on the fence and not taking action with its property? What are they? What am I afraid of? Rejection. What? Job security. Commitment. Don't know if I can afford it. Don't know if it's the right subdivision. I'm holding out for a better property. Think I can get more money. See, until you really understand what I'm afraid of, you're not going to overcome my objection. So I want you to write this formula down for overcoming objection. Anytime you meet objection in the sales process when you're following up, it is because of fear and uncertainty. Everybody with me here? Because of that, I put up opposition of thought. Opposition of thought is what objection is. And I give you a lot of reasons on why I'm not moving forward. What do those reasons look like? Because they're all typically lies. What are they? I'm just thinking. Need to sleep on it. Need to talk about it. Need to pray about it. Need to medicate about it. Need to meditate on it. Got to talk to my wife. Got to talk to my husband. Time is not right. Christmas time's coming up. Wait till the spring. These are all opposition of thought. So here's the formula I use when I meet opposition of thought. Number one, I listen and agree. I don't care what they say. I understand.
It's a question.
I understand. Timing's just not right. I understand. I understand why you would want the timing to be right on this decision. I never get adversarial with the person. I want them to know I represent them. So I listen and I acknowledge and I agree. Let me talk to my husband. I understand. I'd want to talk to my spouse too if we're going to make a decision this big. Well, it's not 100% of what I want. I understand. I can understand why you'd want 100% of what you want here. You see what I'm saying? I don't care what they say. I listen and I agree. No matter what they tell me. Then I asked, in my opinion, the most pivotal question in the objection process is this. Is there any other reason outside of this one thing that would prohibit you from moving forward on this property? Why would I ask that question?
Because it might be an underlying...
That's right. I'm isolating the objection. What I'm doing is I'm trying to find out, are you lying to me? Because in the South we lie, not like meaning to, but we don't want to hurt your feelings, remember? Is there any other reason outside of timing that is keeping you from moving forward with us? No, it's just the timing. Okay? Now, I listen, I acknowledge, I isolate, and then I validate. And validate means, so if I could show you how the timing could be just perfect for this, you're telling me we'll go ahead and write a contract up. Is that right? I'm validating. So I just take that objection and I go right back at it. So you're telling me if I could show you how the timing would be good, okay? Well, I'm really waiting until the spring. I understand. I can understand why you'd want to wait till the spring. Is there any other reason outside of timing that's keeping you? Nope, just the timing? Great. So then I challenge them. The last piece is I challenge them. Can't we both agree that we create our own timing? That there is no good time to do anything in life? And I tell a story. If I was waiting on timing, I'd still be a high school girls basketball coach. See, I challenge them. Because they may go, sometimes I challenge a person or reframe their thinking. You know what they'll do? You're right. Because wouldn't it be nice to be in your new home in January versus be moving right in the middle of the holidays? If we could go ahead and get this thing worked out and get you in there, wouldn't it be great? You're right. Let's go ahead and do it. You know why? It's just a feeling. It's just a feeling. Feelings can be influenced. Do you agree? Feelings can be, well, I don't know if I want to do this. I don't know if I want to do it. If I could show you a way that we could do it at the price points you want, get you in the subdivision you want, get you in there in the last couple of months so you start the new year with a fresh house, right? Because didn't you tell me how much you hated that master bath in your current house? Right? All I'm doing is making you think, which is what a professional does. They don't let the consumer control it. The reason I'm giving you this formula, listen, acknowledge, isolate, validate, and challenge, is because right here is where you're going to get all the objection. How many of y'all are thinking of the objections you get right now? Do you think a world-class salesperson should be able to overcome little bitty objections? Yes or no? Yes. You should be practicing this every day. I love when people give me objection because I'm like, come on, is that all you got? That's a pitiful objection. You're going to have to come up with something better than that to get me. Because I've heard all this stuff before, right? I've heard it all. So I have clothed myself for objection. That means when you bring it to me, I've already meditated on it and I'm ready for it. It don't matter what you tell me. I'm going to go through my formula. Listen, acknowledge, isolate, validate, challenge. So if you told me, yeah, I really want to get coached, but I want to start in January. I understand why you'd want to start in January, right? But if I could show you a way to get in the program right now and build 2 months of momentum before January, wouldn't that be a good thing? So you start fresh versus wait till March to get started next year, right? Yeah, that'd be a good thing. Okay, let's go ahead and get you started today. So what I'm telling you is I'm ready for any kind of objection you got from me because you're going to get them today. Most people do what when they get objection? Say, timing's not right. What do you say? Okay. All right. Hey, call me back 6 months from now. You know what a real low-level salesperson says? Let me get out my calendar. Now, what day 6 months from now would you like for me to call you back? See? A real salesperson, a professional, is expecting this. So they're like, I understand, right? Now, when you're thinking about this, so here's what I want you to know. I want you to think about this follow-up. The purpose of the follow-up is not for you to call and check in with people. The purpose of the follow-up is to you to come back at them. So I call it like a boxing match. Like we got one of these real high-end karate people in my coaching program, and he tells me that they play off each other. Like there's a jab, right, and they jab back. So I want you to think of selling like a jab and another jab. And about every 4 times, you throw that right hook. You don't throw the right hook every time. You just jab. And so what I do, hey, I know you told me that you were very dissatisfied with that current property you're in. If I could get you in the property you want, one just came available, would you like to at least look at it, right? Jab. Just jab. What am I trying to do? Solve your problem. What's the problem? Don't like your current house, don't like the bedroom, don't like the subdivision, don't like the school your kids go to. Those are all the problems. Hey, if I could solve that for you, would you move forward with me? Yes, okay? So when you think about this, the follow-up is what? To show them how you can solve their problem. Hey, I know you couldn't do it at that payment. I've worked out a way to get it within very close to the current payment you're at. If I could show you how to have the house you want close to the payment you currently have, would you be willing to come look at it? Right? All I'm saying is when you follow up with me, solve my problem. If you can't solve my problem, we'll do that, okay? So here's the purpose of the follow-up. Rekindle the initial attraction. How many of y'all are good face-to-face? When you meet somebody face-to-face, you're good, right? Here's the problem. So let's say you and I meet, Stephen and I meet, and he's great. Love his energy. We got business chemistry, and we meet on Monday morning at 9 o'clock to talk about the future and where I'm going, right? I loved him. Great guy. I'm moving forward. Tell my wife we're moving forward, and then I meet with Kim. Something totally unrelated. Still remember Steve, but met with you, then I go meet with you. Your name is not Drink Ticket. Let's see, Mark. Okay? If it was, it'd be a cool name. Okay? So then I meet with Mark, right? Now listen to this. Then I meet with Sandra. All this is unrelated, by the way. You see what I'm saying? Sheila. Now, what's the problem? Guess who I've already forgotten about?
Not Steve, because I was going to call you. Thank you.
Right? Here's the problem. Steve had my attention and he lost it. It ain't his fault. It's because all these other people got my attention.
If you had a name like Drink Ticket.
Yeah, if you had a name like Drink Ticket, right? I do know a guy that named it. I read about this. A guy named his first kid Winner and his last kid Loser. He had 7 kids. Guess which one was more successful? Loser. Winner ended up in prison. True story.
Really?
Yeah. So when you think about this, what that has to do with what we're talking about, nothing, okay? But this is funny, okay? Now, here's what I'm talking about. So the purpose of the follow-up is to rekindle the initial attraction. So here's what I found. Sometimes email does not do this. Text message does not do it. So you know what we do? We do a lot of videos. So Steve and I met. And I use a software. I know some people use BombBomb, but there's a free software called Viewed It. Viewed. Vidyard, but you can go to viewedit.com. Like view, like I'm looking at something. Viewedit.com. Vidyard is the owner of it. But it's a Google Chrome extension, which means you download it. And I use it all the time, which means Steve and I met. I click on that little extension. It says record 3, 2, 1. Hey, Steve, this is Coach Burt. Man, I met you in Knoxville, Tennessee. Love the business chemistry you had. There's 2 things you told me that you were looking for. I've already went and found them for you, right? I'd love to circle back with you this afternoon because, Steve, you know that we lose 10% of momentum every day we don't take action. You with me? See how I followed up? That's so much more powerful than a phone call or text message. You know why? He's reconnecting my energy. Everybody with me here? So it'll let you copy, paste it, send it. So I use video a lot in my follow-up. I also use audio record. Means I'll cut a short one, send it to him in an MP4 or MP3. And the reason I'm doing that is I'm trying to recapture that energy between us. Sometimes a text message or email won't do it. So I send out a lot of video. If you're not sending out video, you should. After every meeting you take, shoot a little video. Hey, we had a great meeting. There's 3 things you told me you wanted. There's 2 actions I've already taken. I've already gone to work for you today. We're already out there looking for properties for you. I think I got something that you're looking for. Let's circle back this afternoon because I don't think it's going to stay on the market very long. You feel me here? So rekindle. Number 2, articulate how you can and will solve their problem. Here's one thing I think we're very poor at in the South. Challenge people to stop and think. So take out the word challenge because people in the South don't like this word. Think about it this way. If you're an expert, is it not true that you should be able to reframe my thinking? Like I wanted a house in this subdivision, but I can't have a house in this subdivision because it ain't available. We're not finished. You should call me back and say, look, I know you wanted a house in that subdivision. I get it. I'd want one in that subdivision too because I love it. But unfortunately, there's nothing on the market in that subdivision. I have found you 95% of what you want. It's just like what you want, just a little bit different. Matter of fact, it's at a better price point in that subdivision. Would you be interested in going and looking at that this afternoon? You see how I challenge them a little bit? See, when a person comes to me with a thought process, I reframe their thinking. Like, here's another one. It's not 100% of what I want. How many times have you guys heard this? It's just not 100% of what I want. Go through your objection. What would you say? What would you say if I gave you that objection? Look, it's not 100% of what I want. My wife wants 100% or nothing. What do you say then? Say it? I understand why you'd want 100%. Okay? Now, reframe me and challenge me.
I can get you 95% of the way.
That's exactly right. Okay? I always like to say this. Isn't it a myth that in life we get 100% of what we want? If I could get you 90% of what you want in the subdivision you want, at a price point you want, would you at least go look at it with me? You see how I said that? See, I came to you telling you what? If it's not 100% of what I want, I'm not doing it. You were so good, you said, look, I understand why you would want that. Okay? But let's be honest here. Sometimes in life we don't get 100% of what we want. I got you close to what you wanted, right down the road in a subdivision. Would you at least go look at it with me? Because I think you're really going to like it. Sure, I'll go look at it. But I'm not buying anything. I went into the Chattanooga dealership once to buy my wife a BMW. She wanted a white BMW, and I went down there to buy a BMW. When I'm in the showroom, I'm walking across, and I see this beautiful M-Series BMW, and I just take a look at it like that. And I kept walking. The salesperson saw me. You know what he said? Coach, why don't we let you drive that M-Series? You know what I told him? Not interested. I coach salespeople for a living. There is nothing, no thing you're going to be able to pull on me for me to buy that. Right? Everybody with me? That's what I told him. I said, I'm like, don't even try it, man. You're a rookie. I'm a professional. He's like, I don't want to sell it to you, but you're here. Why don't you just drive it? And I'm like, all right, I'll drive it, but I don't even want a car. I want an SUV. They clear out the whole showroom for me to drive this car. I'm driving that M-Series. I'm like, man, he said, how's that feel? I'm like, man, it feels awesome. This is nice, right? We walked out of there with 2 BMWs. A black one for me and a white one for my wife. Now, here's my point. He was good because here's what he said. If I could get you a 2-payment deal that is close to what you're currently paying, would you consider it? Nope. if I could get it close to what you're paying. So he knew, I told him what I was currently paying. If I could put 2 cars together and you could get it, right? Would you at least consider it? And I said, look, you can try it, but I'm not considering it. You see how he changed my mind? And I love that car. Absolutely loved it. But I went in saying, I'm not buying. That's how people do houses too. I'm not buying this thing. I am absolutely 100% not buying it. Don't even try to sell it to me, right? And then you get in it, you feel it, and you like it, and you see it. If I could put together a deal that could get you similar to the payment you're currently paying, you could have this house versus that house you're in, would you at least consider it? See, what you got to understand, these are feelings. Feelings, right? Feelings can be changed. I'm not feeling it, I'm not feeling it, I'm not feeling it. Well, you kind of reframe my thinking here. Okay? Now, so to challenge them, here's a big thing to trigger movement in the buying decision. And the only way to do that is to make them think, hey, look, if you got to wait a little bit longer, this thing's going to be gone. How would you feel if I called you tomorrow and told you that you couldn't get it? I don't want to make that phone call. One of the things I heard my real estate agent say to another agent is this. We knew we were going to have multiple offers on my house, and he said this. That was a great line. He said, we're going to have multiple offers on Coach Burt's house. So if your buyer wants it, we need you to bring the best and final offer, because in multiple offer scenarios, somebody always gets their feelings hurt. And I really like working with you, and I don't want to hurt your feelings. Isn't that a good one? Does somebody always get their feelings hurt in multiple offer deals? Yes. He wasn't lying. It's the truth. He said, look, let's avoid this. It seems like, remember those words I used this morning? It seems like your person really wants it. There's going to be multiple offers, so bring your best and highest. And they did. They went above asking to get it because they wanted it that bad. So my point to you is there's 2 things that sell anything, exclusivity and scarcity. When something is scarce, it sells, and when it's exclusive, it sells. You follow me here? So for you, you got to understand how to make it exclusive and scarce. Well, it's exclusive because, look, I've only got 1 left. Okay? There's only 1 house in this subdivision left, and you seem like you want it. I know it's not 100% of what you want, but your kids can go to the school you want. You got the backyard that you want. So what about this one? Hey, I'm following up with the person. They say, well, I just wanted a bigger yard. I just want a big yard. So you're telling me that the yard is more important than the house? Because you're going to be in the house 95% of the time, right? Because it seems like you love the house, you just don't love the yard. So is the yard more important to you or the house more important to you? You see how I challenge them? And they'll go, no, the house is more important to me. We can go to the park, right? Well, a lot of people go, well, let me just keep looking till I find you the perfect house and the perfect yard. What you should say is, I'm an expert here. What you're asking for, we don't have in Knoxville right now. I'd love a little magic fairy to come down and bring us one, but it's not available. What we do have is we do have this available, and it's close to what you want, and it's exclusive and it's scarce, so would you like to take action on it? Let me tell you why this is critical. It's the truth. You're not lying to people, guys. It is exclusive and scarce, okay? So here are the 5 types of salespeople. And what's interesting, the relationship builder wants to be liked. We all want to be liked, okay? We all want to be accepted, okay? The lone wolf goes out and does their own thing, but they're a broker's nightmare. They sell a lot of houses, but they're not team players. The hard worker comes in early and stays late and makes 175 phone calls a day, but don't sell anything. The reactive problem solver is really good after something breaks down and then they solve it. And the challenger is a person that kind of is an expert and pushes. Out of these, which one do you think represents 40% of all top performers? Most people initially think relationship builder.
The challenger is going to be who is it?
Now, when they did a study of 6,000 salespeople, they found out that over 40% of the top sales professionals were what they call challengers, which means they take control of the sale. They don't let the consumer control it, they control it. So you go down to look at them and say, I'd like to look at 75 houses this weekend, and all weekend long we're going to look at this. The relationship builder does what? All right, let's start at 4 a.m. and let's go look at all of them. Right? Because they want to be liked. The challenger says, look, based on what you've told me, I have found the top 3 houses for you. And these are 3 houses that have 90% of what you want or more. There's no need for us to spend all weekend looking at all these. The challenger takes control, right? I look at all the big mortgage originators I coach. They're all challengers. You know what they tell you? You know what my big mortgage originator, the ones that are doing 100 million and above, you know what they tell you? I need this stuff turned in by 3 o'clock this afternoon or we're not going to close this house on time. They don't say, well, just get them in whenever you want to get them in. Well, yes or no? They like, look, if you want to live in this house, I need these files by 4 o'clock this afternoon, or it ain't happening, Jack. Now, I can get you in there, but I got to have this stuff turned in. They take total control of the deal. That's a challenger. All my top producers are challengers. They're not relationship builders. Now, here's the interesting part. Can you be a challenger and a relationship builder at the same time? Yes. The stats actually say some of the most valued partnerships are people that are both challengers and relationship builders. Do you want me to tell you the truth, or do you want me to tell you what you want to hear? So when a person comes to me about their business, I ask them that question. Do you want me to tell you the truth, or do you want me to tell you what you want to hear? And they'll say, no, I'm paying you to tell me the truth. Okay. Well, there's 3 things that we got to go to work on in your business that you're losing money in, okay? The relationship builder would say, well, now let's talk about it and let's just think about it. And why don't you tell me what you think we need to be doing here? See, you're coming to me because I'm an expert just like you're an expert, right? And so I'm going to give you some counsel and coaching, okay? Now, why do you need to challenge the prospect? Why do you need to push them a little bit? Here's all the things that are happening. Number 1, you got to understand they're in the current of the urgent. Moving fast. Class 5 rapid. Any of you guys ever been in a Class 5 rapid? You ain't got time to think. That's what's happening to people. They're getting hundreds of emails a day, phone calls, text messages, Facebook messages, kids. What's happening is they're moving so fast, you have got to keep their attention. Okay? When I don't stop and think, I don't make decisions. The number 1 time people make big buying decisions are on the weekends and holidays. You know why? They're relaxed. They're relaxed. This is why people buy houses on the weekends, guys. Number 1, we live in an ADD world, which means our minds are thinking so fast, you're losing our attention. Okay? And number 2, you need to understand linear and nonlinear touches. Now, when I'm saying go back and touch a person, linear or nonlinear, what I'm saying is a linear touch is you got somebody in the pipeline and you're on about touch number 5 and you say, have you seen enough to make a decision? You can ask this in the first meeting. Sometimes I ask a person in the very first meeting, hey, look, it seems like you really like this. Have you seen enough to take action? And if they say no, no worries. Let's keep going. All they're telling me is they need more information. Anytime a person is not moving forward, it's not their fault, it's your fault. Can you say that? And the reason they're not moving forward is because why? They've got fear and uncertainty. The only way to overcome fear and uncertainty is what? Feed them more information. So let's go back to those 66 people that said they're going to come in Chattanooga that didn't come. Andy can go back to them after they missed and say, hey, we really missed you. Coach Burt was really counting on you being there that day, and he was sad. He went home and cried all night long because you didn't come. And his little girl's not going to eat next month because you didn't show up. Just joking. What he could say, though, is, hey, we're disappointed you didn't come, man. We saved you a seat. Coach Burt was excited about meeting you. I brought you a book, one of his books I was going to give you for free, but it's okay. Because guess what? We're coming back next month. So what can we do to get on your schedule? Well, I got a little fear and uncertainty. I don't know if I can afford it. We understand. If I could show you a way that we could afford it or break up the payments, or if we could show you, right? All we're asking you to do is come and just check it out, because what he's going to teach you is how to make more money. And it's going to pay for this way, way, way over. See, what he's got to do as a sales professional is keep doing what? Feeding them information. Because that day, they made a decision that something else was a bigger priority than coming to that class. So which means if they would have known that we could help them, and it really could help them, they would make it a priority. So we got to go back and keep feeding them more information. Everybody with me here? Follow up, okay? So when Andy gets them on the phone, he's going to hear all these things. Time is not right. I'm going to wait till January. Now he's been coached in how to overcome objection. I understand. Is there any other reason beside timing, right? If I could show you how to go ahead and get started right now, but start your payments in January, whatever. Let's go ahead and get you in the room, because he can't help you until you get in there. So can I count on you to be there next month? You see how I push him a little bit? Now, so what I'm doing is I'm taking control. Now, let's say he goes 3 touches like that, and then he sends them an article that I've written. Here are 6 ways to make more money in real estate. Coach Burt just did a video on $1 Million Fall, and he don't even say anything about the class. He just touches them. That would be a non-linear touch. Does everybody get that? So linear is he comes right at them. Non-linear is he uses all of this collateral that I've created and just touches them. hey, Coach Burt wrote an article this weekend in how to overcome disappointment. I know in real estate you get disappointed a lot. Just read this article. He didn't ask anything about the sale. That's a non-linear touch. Maybe he says, Coach, I want you to do a video about follow-up. Okay, I do a little video. Hey, Coach did a video on follow-up. See how you need to be more creative with your touches? Most agents, all the sides shaking their head and all the sides looking at me like I come from another planet, okay? You understand what I'm saying over here? Okay, good. Okay, good. Just give me an amen if you say it. Here's how not to follow up.
Just checking in.
Never, ever. If you use this one after this class, I will track you down, okay?
That is
How many people have used these?
not the waking up.
Never again, right? Never again. These are no-nos. None of this. If you said, look, I'm thinking about you, there's two specific things I was thinking. I was thinking if you don't take action right now, we could lose this deal. I was thinking rates may go up in January. I was thinking this. I was thinking that, hey, this is going to be the only property that's going to come available in this subdivision. If you say I was just thinking about you, be very specific. Hey, I just worked with someone just like you. Hey, I just worked with someone just like you. I had a blast working with them, right? Let me show you a couple creative things I did to get them in the house that they wanted. I think we could do it for you too. See what I'm talking about? Be very specific in your follow-up, okay? So here's my 7 touches. And I got about 7 minutes, and I'm going to get you out of here. Is that right? Number 1, I got to get your attention. What if I call you and you don't take my phone call? Steve, what if I call you 3 times and I don't get your attention? Is that my fault or your fault? It's my fault. What would I say? Steve, this is Coach Burt. Something I'm doing is not working because you're not calling me back. If I did a better job of articulating my value, Steve, and I showed you how I can make you a lot of money on this house and you could walk into it with immediate equity, you'd probably call me back. So it's my fault you're not calling me back. It's not your fault. See how I took responsibility for that? Most people will never do that. Most people say, well, Steve won't call me back. I've called Steve 17 times. Well, maybe I don't get Steve that way. You know what I got to do is got to get his attention. So maybe I cut a video. Hey, Steve, this is Coach Burt. Been trying to get your attention, but man, I've been really doing a pitiful job. I even read the book $1 Million Follow-Up, and it ain't working, Steve. See what I'm saying? Apparently, I got to get better. I got to get better coaching, but something I'm doing is not working, Steve. What have I got to do to get your attention? Sometimes Steve called me back and said, man, that's the best follow-up I've ever had. Right? First thing I got to do is get your attention. So what I do is I give away things. I give away bait. I give away this. Hey, Steve, let's get you down and meet face-to-face because we could do this over the phone, but they'll probably cost us 6 months. If we got down face-to-face, Angela, you know what we could do? We could meet, we could talk about it, and I'll save you 6 months if you just come down to the office, so let's meet face-to-face. See what I'm talking about? Isn't that cool? Number 2, I got to have something to say. We actually teach our agents how to explain their services because most agents do a very poor job of explaining what it is they do. Okay? So we teach a concept called the EOS, the explanation of service. That is 6 steps, a 6-step framework which will give you ridiculous confidence when you're going out into the market. After you and I meet, so Steve and I met, Steve told me what he wanted, he told me what his problem was, I summarized that typically with a video. Steve, you and I met down at the office, had a great meeting, loved your energy, loved everything about you. There's 2 things we talked about, there's 3 things I said I was going to do. The wheels are already turning, big guy. Everybody with me? That's touch number 3. Touch number 4 is where I would use a nonlinear. So we're moving this ball down the field. I don't want to lose momentum with Steve, so I send him something that's not related to the sale. So I send Steve an article. Steve, here's the 6 ways that I use to get the most money on a property. Steve, here's a video I did on this. Steve, I went out and looked at 3 different properties for you, and I found this. So what I do is I use a nonlinear touch right here because what I don't want Steve to feel like he's constantly being sold. Everybody with me? Well, all I'm doing is just providing value for Steve. Touch number 5, sometimes I have some of my best clients call him. Hey, Steve's on the fence. I know you know him. I know I've worked with you. Will you pick up the phone and call Steve because he's got some questions he's not asking me. And he will be honest with you and he's not being honest with me. Can you call him and see what's going on here? Love to, okay? Number 6, I push for a face-to-face. Steve, you came in. We talked about what it is you want. Man, I feel like we're losing a little bit of momentum here. Okay, so can I get you back in face-to-face and let's try to meet so I can clearly understand if your priorities are shifted. How many of you are good face-to-face? Right? So here's the deal. Look how many times I'm trying to get you face-to-face. At least 2 or 3 times. Number 7, I'm going to have a hard conversation. I'm going to say, Steve, have you noticed how hard I have worked to earn your business? Has any other real estate professional in Knoxville worked this hard? Here's what I know. No, they haven't. They haven't gone 7 touches. They've gone 2. Steve, what's keeping you from moving forward on this property? It seems like you really want to do it, but there's one thing that's holding you back. I believe all progress starts by telling the truth. You tell me what it is that's holding you back, man, we'll go to work on it. See how I push him a little bit right there? Now, once I go 7 touches, depending on if I think we're going to do this, I may keep going. So what's the number 1 question I get asked right here? What do you think?
What if they still say no?
What if they still say no? Maybe. Here's my philosophy. There's 7 billion people on planet Earth. Steve may not be a good fit for us, or he may not be ready. Steve, doesn't seem like you're ready to move forward on this property. Really seems like you're in a stall. I understand. What I'm going to do is stay involved in your life. We're going to talk maybe once a month, if that's okay with you. With your permission, I'd like to follow up. I'm not going to be pushy, but I am going to be a professional. And I think professionals follow up. Is that okay, Steve? He's going to say absolutely. And I'm just going to keep him in the loop. Everybody with me? No doesn't mean no forever. It just means no today. He could call me back 3 days later and go, Coach, I'm ready. What changed? Don't matter what changed. Okay? But I like to have 7 good touches here because the stats tell me I got to go 7 times, right? What's the velocity of this? If he's really hot, it may be 7 straight days. If he's not hot, it may be 14 days, maybe 21 days, maybe 3 months, maybe 6 months. And when I say velocity, what I mean by is the speed of the sale. Everybody with me? If he's really hot and wants to buy something, like when I made up my mind I wanted that condo in Nashville, I wanted it. You couldn't talk me out of not wanting it. I made up my mind. That agent should have been in touch with me every day. Coach, we're trying to put a deal together. We're trying to put a deal together, okay? All right, let's finish up with this. And I'm going to get you out of here. And I got to get on an airplane and move on to the next place. Momentum pushes. Here's some things I say at the end. I say, man, I brought exactly, and I joke with people, man, I brought exactly what you wanted on a silver platter. What's stopping you from moving forward? Okay? If you're not ready to take action, can you tell me why? Okay? We lose 10% of momentum every day we don't act, maybe more. And you do know what momentum is, don't you? Just momentum headed in a direction. Okay? I believe there's power in taking action. If you got to sleep on it, you may not sleep in it. You're focused on the wrong numbers. What else is there to think about? Have you seen enough to make a decision, which is one of my favorites. You see how we're doing this systematically? How many of you think you could do better at the follow-up? Right? If you're not going 7 touches, that's the first place. And number 2, if you're not challenging the prospect and taking more control of this sale, that's the second place you can get better. Everybody with me? All right, let me close with this. I do an email every week. That's got a positive email in it. It's got my podcast. It's got my videos in it. It's a way for me to just stay in your life and give you some positive mojo. If you are interested in coming back to the coaching program, which is Monster Producer, then all we need is your email address, your business card. First time's on me. You can come, no obligation. If you like it, we can talk about it. If you don't like it, it won't hurt my feelings. I will track you down like a mad wolf. I'm just joking about that. But if you don't like it, no big deal. But if you are interested, I would like for you to come and experience that live, okay? Have we had a good day today? Yes. Thank you so much, guys, for being so coachable. Have a great day.
Thanks.
Thank you.